There is a version of you that already has everything you want. That version is not in the future the way you think. It exists right now, waiting for you to step into it. The problem is not time. The problem is identity. Most people are trying to get there, but the truth is, you don't get there. You become it. And the moment you truly become it, time collapses. The idea that your future self already exists is not about imagination, it's about alignment. Most people believe they have to build a completely new version of themselves over time, step by step, year after year. But in reality, the version of you that has already achieved your goals operates on a different frequency of thinking, feeling, and decision-making right now. That version isn't waiting to be created, it's waiting to be accessed. Think about it. If you had the confidence, discipline, clarity, and belief of your future self today, how would you act? You wouldn't hesitate the same way. You wouldn't procrastinate the same way. You wouldn't doubt yourself the same way. That means the only real difference between you and that version is not time, but identity. The gap is internal, not external. When you start to understand this, you stop chasing outcomes and start embodying qualities. You begin to realize that success is not something you arrive at, it's something you express through who you are being in this moment. The future version of you already thinks in solutions instead of problems, already trusts instead of fears, already moves instead of waiting. So instead of asking, how long will it take, you begin asking, how quickly can I align with that mindset? The faster you align, the faster your reality shifts, because your actions naturally follow your identity. You don't need permission, more time, or perfect conditions to begin stepping into that version of yourself. You only need awareness and the willingness to choose differently right now. Most people focus on what they need to do, but they ignore who they are being while they do it. That's why they stay stuck in cycles, taking action, but not getting the results they want. The truth is, action alone doesn't create transformation. Identity does. Your identity is the internal story you hold about yourself, and every action you take is simply a reflection of that story. If you see yourself as someone who lacks discipline, you will eventually act in ways that confirm it. If you see yourself as confident and capable, your behavior will naturally align with that belief. This is why two people can follow the same strategy but get completely different outcomes. One is acting from doubt, the other from certainty. One is trying to prove something, the other is expressing who they already believe they are. When your identity shifts, your actions stop feeling forced. You don't have to push yourself to stay consistent, because consistency becomes part of who you are. You don't struggle to make better decisions, because better decisions become automatic. Instead of asking, what should I do to succeed? You start asking, who is the person that already has what I want, and how do they think? From there, your actions become effortless extensions of that identity. You begin to move with clarity instead of confusion, with intention instead of hesitation. The real power is not in doing more, but in becoming someone for whom the right actions are natural. Because once your identity changes, your behavior follows without resistance, and your results begin to reflect that shift in a way that feels almost inevitable. Most people underestimate how much doubt quietly controls their timeline. When you are uncertain, your mind starts searching for guarantees, and in that process, you slow everything down. You hesitate before making decisions, you overanalyze simple steps, and you keep waiting for the right moment. That hesitation stretches time, because every delay compounds into lost momentum. On the other hand, certainty creates speed. When you are certain about who you are and where you are going, you don't waste energy questioning every move. You act, you adjust, and you keep moving forward without constantly stopping to validate yourself. That continuous motion is what compresses time. It's not that certain people are more talented or lucky. It's that they eliminate the friction that doubt creates. Think about it. When you are sure of something, you don't negotiate with yourself. You don't wake up and debate whether you should show up. You simply do. That level of clarity removes resistance, and when resistance disappears, progress accelerates. Certainty also changes how you handle failure. Instead of seeing setbacks as signs to stop, you see them as part of the process, which keeps you in motion while others pause. Doubt makes you fragile, but certainty makes you resilient. It allows you to move even when conditions are not perfect, and that consistency builds results faster than sporadic bursts of effort ever could. The more certain you become, the less time you spend stuck in indecision, and the more time you spend creating momentum. Over time, that difference becomes massive, because while others are waiting and questioning, you are already moving closer to the version of your life that once felt far away. Most people try to create a bigger life while staying in the same emotional and mental state, and that's where the disconnect happens. Energy is not just about how active you are. It's about the frequency of your thoughts, your emotions, and the way you show up in every moment. If your vision is expansion, growth, confidence, and success, but your daily energy is filled with doubt, hesitation, and fear, there's a mismatch. And when there's a mismatch, progress feels slow or even non-existent. You cannot expect a powerful outcome from a limited internal state. The version of you that already lives your desired life carries a different energy. That version is more decisive, more focused, more certain, and more emotionally stable. It doesn't react to every obstacle. It responds with clarity. So the work is not just external effort, it is internal alignment. You have to raise your baseline state to match the life you want. This means becoming aware of how you think when things go wrong, how you feel when you face uncertainty, and how quickly you return to a centered state. When your energy shifts, your perception changes, and when your perception changes, your actions follow naturally. You start seeing opportunities instead of problems, solutions instead of limitations. Your presence becomes stronger, and people respond differently to you. It's not something you force, it's something you embody. When your inner state reflects confidence and certainty, your outer world begins to mirror that same pattern, because you are no longer operating from survival. You are operating from alignment with something greater than your current circumstances. Most people live their lives chasing outcomes, constantly moving toward a future they believe is separate from them. They say, "I'll feel successful when I achieve this," or "I'll become confident once I reach that point." But this way of thinking keeps the future at a distance, because you are always acting from a place of lack. Acting from the end means flipping that perspective completely. It means you stop moving toward the result and start moving from the identity of someone who already has it. The difference is subtle but powerful. When you act toward something, your energy is filled with wanting, needing, and sometimes even desperation. But when you act from the end, your energy is grounded in certainty and ownership. You make decisions as if the result is already part of your reality. You don't wait for external proof to feel confident. You generate that confidence internally first. This changes everything, because your behavior becomes aligned with the outcome you desire. You speak differently, carry yourself differently, and choose differently, not because you're forcing it, but because it feels natural to who you believe you are. Acting from the end also removes pressure. You are no longer chasing validation or trying to prove something to the world. Instead, you are expressing something that already exists within you. This creates a sense of calm focus, where your actions are intentional rather than reactive. Over time, those aligned actions compound, and your external reality begins to reflect your internal state. What once felt distant starts to feel normal, and what once felt impossible starts to feel expected. Because you are no longer waiting to become that person someday. You are already living as that person today.